Welcome to VPN Review Hub. I'm Adrian. Protecting oneself online has been more and more common, no thanks to the frequency of people's identities getting stolen, companies monitoring your activity for profit, governments spying on their citizens, or just certain countries blocking online content in general. Getting a VPN is more often than not a complicated process. From the different types of plans and the multitude of VPN services available out there, and the complex protocols and types of encryption available. Today we're going to go over 10 mistakes people do when getting a VPN. With that in mind, in no particular order, let's go ahead and jump right in. First on the list is picking the wrong VPN. Probably one of the more common mistakes that people make when getting a VPN is choosing the wrong one. Much like picking the right fruit to eat, you have to inspect it and make sure that there is nothing rotten on it, or worms, or any other bad things like that. There are a multitude of VPNs out there, many of which are legitimate, but there are a few that do leak information or just take your money, for instance. It will take some time, though, to go through and find the right VPN that would fit for you. But everyone should look for the VPN that is tailored to your specific needs, which leads us to our second mistake. Our second mistake is thinking that all VPN are the same. With the amount of choices available out there, it's easy to dismiss the differences of each service at least at first glance. And they all have hundreds of servers around the world, they all have military-grade encryption, and are actually relatively cost the same. Some key differences, though, that you want to look for are user experience, customer service, how responsive they are, and how well they reply to your inquiries. Another one is how many devices it can protect, and also the type of protocols that they have available for that specific VPN. Some VPNs actually have more protocols available compared to others, while some only have two, and even in some cases just one available protocol on their settings menu. There are quite a lot of options out there, but there are some important things about VPNs that people need to be careful of as well. Another mistake that people make is not fully understanding logging policies. When using a VPN, three important information becomes known. One is your computer's IP address, or your computer's assigned address when surfing the internet. Your browsing history is another, and lastly, your internet connection logs. Most VPN advertise that they do not keep logs of your information, which is true for the most part. However, some VPNs do keep some of that data and may or may not use it for profit by selling it to a corporation or something like that to tailor it for their ads. Though some of that data is also kept to monitor any illegal activity that may be going on while using their service as well, so it's also there to keep themselves safe, I guess. VPNs have some of its flaws, but it definitely has some of its benefits as well. Speaking of legality, VPNs might also be misunderstood as something that is potentially illegal. Most people think that VPNs are legal because of certain shady individuals using such tools. But the truth is, the using of a VPN is actually quite legal. VPNs were originally developed for businesses to safely and securely transfer important and/or sensitive information, and is still being used in such a manner to this day. Personal VPNs have only become more popular recently, but companies and businesses have been using them for decades. On that note, if you're using VPNs for nefarious reasons, then that's all up to you. But do know that it's not a get-out-of-jail-free card for one's online activities, so do keep that in mind. If you're using VPN for legal purposes anyway, then you don't have to worry about any of that. As previously touched upon, some shady individuals may use VPNs to cover their tracks of illegal activity, but there are much fewer of them than one would expect. On a similar note, another misunderstanding that people think are that only paranoid security eccentrics or conspiracy theorists are the only ones who use such services. And as also previously mentioned, businesses have been using VPN services for a long time and for completely legal and non-paranoid reasons. So the popularity of personal VPNs have also been recently increasing for streaming purposes or just combating censorship. So it's only a matter of time until it becomes part of the norm. Another mistake that people make when getting a VPN is underestimating the importance of VPN. Most online users might think that VPN is not necessary or important at all in their lives. That may be true for that individual or a few individuals, but having a VPN can actually be more important than it seems. Censorship is one such problem that online users all around the world face, especially in China. Online users are limited to what their government approves and is also limited when it comes to the information given to the public through the internet. VPNs are a great tool in getting around such repressive restrictions. Another mistake that people do when getting a VPN is not fully understanding the capabilities of a VPN. Other than the ability to bypass restrictive locations, VPNs also deny cybercriminals, government agencies, and even your own ISP from eavesdropping on your online activity, especially when you're connected to a public Wi-Fi location. They do this by encrypting your activity and your connection to the website or location that you wish to connect to. Then your information such as your IP address, where you are browsing from, and the information you may be sending will not be seen. Privacy and security is only some of the important features of getting a VPN. But it's also a good idea to keep those expectations not too high, given how the world of the internet works. One of the other mistakes that people make when getting a VPN is overestimating the capabilities of a free VPN. Such capabilities and benefits aside, we should also keep in mind that VPNs can't do everything, and we should not expect them to do so, especially if it's free. Free VPNs are generally an attractive offer, but free VPN isn't really free exactly. You might not be paying for the service itself, but your information is being sold to advertisers perhaps, or the app allows ads on the side panels or something like that. Sometimes they would offer you a limited free version of their service, only to convince you to buy the full paid version of that same product. VPNs such as these have to make money somehow after all, and they are still a business, and businesses have to earn something at least. Another mistake that people make is relying too much in one review site. Sometimes people check one review and completely believe everything that's said on that website because it looks legit. Some of those are probably legitimate, but sometimes it can be misconstrued or be biased based on the reviewer's experience. The best way to avoid such bias is to make sure that you check multiple sources to see if the reviews are consistent. Lastly, another mistake that people make mistakes on when buying or getting a VPN is recklessly providing private information to third parties. Even if you have a really good VPN that you're paying for every month, it won't matter if you recklessly provide your private information to third parties anyway. Always be cautious about your private information and make sure to use a proxy email should you need to, and avoid answering personal questions, and also make sure to avoid intrusive software in general. No matter how cautious we are when it comes to VPNs, we still fall for the usual trappings of the online world. Habits like these do tend to happen, sometimes unwittingly, especially for shoppers out there who just want to get that great deal. People make mistakes all the time, so make sure to keep this advice in mind when getting a VPN. Overall, though, much like with getting anything new in the world of technology, just make sure to do a bit of research before you completely buy into getting the proper VPN that works for you, and make sure to check multiple reviews on that product as well. Well, that's all we have for today, guys. Safe surfing, my friends, and thank you for watching VPN Review Hub. I've been Aldrin, and see you guys next time.